All right then. So now what we have to do is we have to go ahead and start customizing our navigation bar because this is not looking really good, right? So let's go ahead and start customizing our navigation bar, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create myself over here. Let me collapse everything, and inside this component, I'm going to create a new file called navbar.tsx, right? So that is going to be rendered where inside our layout. This is the place. So this is the place where we are going to bring our nav bar, which is not yet, we haven't created it. So this is the place. So I'm going to make sure this nav bar, which is going to be a client of no, we need to fetch these stores later. So it's better to keep it as a server-side component itself. So here, what we are going to do is I'm just going to say RAFC, and I'm going to make sure this is the nav bar, and I don't need this. All right, so save this changes. Okay, so here all I have to do is to make sure okay, let's fetch that details, all those things later. And for this let's go here and let's import it from the components, save it. Now you should get that nav bar over there. And for this I'm just going to say class name, which is going to be border. So we need to have a border at the bottom. So now we have the border at the bottom. I'm going to create a division, flex, and height, of course, it's going to be 16, not more than that. And items, everything should be center, and px, it's going to be 4. Save these changes, and this is how it looks. And inside this division, now I'm going to say this is going to be the store situation. This is the place where we are going to store. This is store switcher. So we have to allow the user to switch between the stores, something like this. Okay, so that's what we need to do. Then what we need to do is we need to bring all the routes. So for that we need to bring the routes. This is the place where we are going to have the routes. Okay, then we need to bring the user profile. So we can access that user profile just by using the user button from the clerk next.js. And after successful sign out, user need to be pushed to the home route. So save these changes. Now you should be able to see that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this user into a division class name, and that is going to be module and auto. Okay. And inside here, I'm going to save these changes. Now you can see you have your user detail at the end. If you click this, you can able to sign out or whatever you wish to, you can do that. Okay. So now let's go ahead and fix this nav bar, the main nav bar. So what I'm going to do is right after here, I'm just going to say main nav. So let's create one more component over here called main underscore nav.tsx. And that main nav, of course, this is going to be a client side, use client. We need to make set a client side component, and RAFC, that is going to be main nav, and we don't need this. Oh, come on. I locked my PC. 1 second. Okay, sorry. Right here. Now, what I have to do is, so we have to create a props for this main navigation. Of course, it is going to have all the HTML attributes and HTML elements, right? So that's the reason. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a prop which is going to have a class name, then, and I need to have all other props. So the type should be React. So React dot HTML attributes, and it should have all the HTML elements property, right? This is how you need to use the type prop of it. Save these changes, and now let's import this one from here. Import it. So now you should not get any error. Okay, so you should get that main nav over here, right? So what we have to do is now over here we have to create the routes, and we need to push the user to that specific route. So let's go ahead and create the route first. So inside here, const path name, we need to get that path name is equals to use path name. From the next navigation, we get the exact path name where we are. Then we need to get the params also. So const params equals to use params from the next navigation. Now since we have the both, then we need to create the routes. Const routes equals to an array of objects, and it's going to be href. It's going to be slash. Okay, it's going to push the user to that specific settings. So this is supposed to be a dynamic string literals, and let's say dot slash params dot store id slash settings. That is the route name, right? If the user has been there, then the label should be the settings. Then we need to make sure, so active dot path name, so we need to make sure active, if it is active, is going, when it's going to be active, if the path name is equals to dynamic string literals dollar params dot store id then slash settings. If it is equals to this exact same thing, then which means it is an active route. So we can use this active to make it look different. So now all we have to do is to render those li inside here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to change this to nav. I'm going to make sure the class name, and I'm going to use this cn, which is coming from our library utils, which I mentioned initially from here, which is coming from here, this one. So this helps you to merge the classes, and you can write some custom styles for this, right? So I'm gonna say open it. I'm gonna write the flex item center and then space x, it's going to be 4, and on the large device space x, it's going to be 6, and padding left, it's going to be 6. Save changes, and now inside this nav bar, I'm gonna say routes dot map, open it, and route, let's render it, and I'm gonna bring the link which is coming from next link, and it's need to have the key prop, which is going to be your route dot href, which is going to be always unique, and href also is going to be route dot href, right? Then class name, it's going to be, I'm going to use the cn to merge the styles. So the default styles, it's going to be text sm, save these changes, and font, of course, it's going to be medium, and the transitions also going to be the colors. The color changes should be transitioned properly. Let me word wrap it, right? Then on hover, I'm gonna make the primary text color. Okay, save these changes. So if the routes are active, so after that, after this string, default string, after that we are going to say if the route is active, then I can write my custom styles over here. If it is active, then I need to display something. If it is not, then I need to do something. If it is active, so the text color should be black, text black, and on dark mode, the text should be the white color. And over here, I'm just going to say text muted foreground initially. So save these changes, and inside here, I'm gonna render the route dot label. Save these changes. Now you should be able to see the setting. This is not active right now. This is the reason is because we are not inside the settings route. If I click this, I'm gonna get the error as 4 not 4, because inside the store ID route, we don't have a page called settings. So what we have to do is I'm gonna create a new page over here with the exact same name called settings. And inside here, I'm gonna have the page.tsx and sfc, and I'm just going to say settings page, and I'm gonna have the page as settings. Save the changes. Now you should able to see this as settings. The reason is because now we can see this has changed its color because now we are inside the settings page, right? So I'm gonna delete this, and I'm going to get back to that specific ID, right? Now over here, right? So we are there. So next, what we have to do, we have to create something like this, just exactly the same way we have to do it over here. So that's what we are going to do next.